G'day, ZiggyD here. The Path of Exile 3.1 expansion has been revealed and it's called War for the Atlas. In this video I'm going to provide a summary of everything that's been revealed so far, along with some of my initial thoughts and analysis.
I have gazed upon things not meant for the eyes of man. Spores of malignant madness that must be stopped. None of us are safe.
War for the Atlas will be releasing alongside the Challenge League Abyss, which features a breach-like crack that you follow fighting enemies along the way. There's not much info on Abyss revealed yet, so I'll be focusing mainly on War for the Atlas in this video. The new expansion is almost completely endgame focused, which makes sense as a follow-up to the overhauled leveling experience brought to us in the recent Fall of Oriath expansion. It'll be featuring 32 new maps with new bosses, including some based on Fall of Oriath. Katava as a map boss has been confirmed through some of the released footage, which I expect will be quite the brutal challenge. But more importantly, the functionality of the Atlas itself, the way you progress and engage with maps, is being fundamentally changed. Perhaps permanently, as this is part of an expansion and not a challenge league. War for the Atlas will see a new endgame power arise, the Elder, who begins a war on the Shaper in an attempt to wrest control of the maps. This is explored in-game by maps now being controlled and overtaken by either the Shaper or the Elder over time. You can see in the footage that the maps can either fall within the tendrily control areas of the Elder or the void areas controlled by the Shaper, and as you play you'll be able to influence this war for either side. Entering into a map controlled by either the Shaper or the Elder will mean you'll encounter elements of their control, traps and void scarring for the Shaper, or tendril entities that sap the player's strength from the Elder. Farming these maps will give you a chance to obtain special rare items with additional powers unique to each side, shown by a special animated background. These will have stats like support gems for socketed skills or other affixes that you can't normally see in that slot. These look super powerful, giving new options for AoE skill setups for players using one-handed weapon builds for example, or giving more versatile skill loadouts to our builds, which PoE distinctly lacks in some cases. Completing maps controlled by the Shaper or Elder will affect control of each side. Fight in the Elder controlled maps and the Shaper may become more dominant, and vice versa. This eventually culminates in one side gaining the dominating hold on the Atlas, and that means you can either face the Shaper and his Guardians in the center of the Atlas, or the Elder and his Guardians instead. The new Elder fight has not been revealed yet, which is probably a good thing, as that's a rather major final fight to look forwards to. I imagine it's much like how the Shaper was kept pretty secret in the Atlas of Worlds expansion teasers, and I expect the final Elder fight will be too. Another new element to the endgame map system is that when the Elder takes control of maps, he can consume the regular map boss and build his own minor guardian in that map for you to face instead. This is quite a major twist, as it means you'll be able to engage with Elder Guardian fights throughout the map system and not just in the final tiers. This will bring this content to more players. The power of the Elder Guardian will be based on the map boss consumed, and you can see one of the fights in the background here. A lightning-themed Guardian with a deadly arena that was spawned from a low-tier map. It can be expected that the Elder and his Guardians will have their own set of chase uniques in addition to the existing Shaper ones. This will add a new layer of depth and strategy to the Atlas that I'm very excited for. Players may want to farm the special rares from Elder or Shaper maps, but in doing so they may cause the other side to become more dominant. And if players want to fight the Elder or Shaper directly to obtain their uniques, then they'll have to influence the war in their favour first. I think this will have two major implications in how we tackle the Atlas. Firstly, I expect this will mean a more varied approach to mapping, where players will have good incentive to go into more different maps than just running a select few shaped maps. Secondly, you'll have to plan whether you want to focus on farming Shaper or Elder rares versus farming the Shaper or Elder themselves. Such a trade-off will encourage some planning and decision-making in how you tackle the Atlas. This expansion seems like it'll be enhancing both depth and variety in the endgame, which is exactly what I was hoping for out of this expansion. Now aside from the core mechanics and endgame improvements, we have a bunch of other new content as well. Firstly, a whopping 10 new skill gems, 4 actual skills and 6 supports. The skills are all necromantic in flavour, but not purely summoner focused. We have skills like Unearth, a piercing physical projectile that creates corpses at the final location. Potentially a nice offensive alternative to Desecrate and a nice combo piece with some of the other new skills. Cremation explodes a corpse, creating a volcanic geyser. You can see in the video a build using both Unearth and Cremation together here. There's some serious particle effects going on, but it looks pretty fun. Volatile Dead explodes a corpse and creates an orb that chases nearby enemies and then explodes. Basically, we finally get a chance to turn volatile against the mobs for some sweet payback. And then there's Body Swap, which is an existential crisis in skill form. You explode your own body and a targeted corpse, and then recreate yourself at the location of the exploded corpse. I love how dark the implications of this skill are. 4 support gems revealed so far include Storm Barrier for channeling defense and power charge generation, could be pretty OP with Lightning Coil. The volley support reworks the unreleased split arrow threshold duel from the last beta if you'll recall, firing additional projectiles from either side of you in parallel, but this instead will work for any projectile skill including spells. Spell Cascade takes an area skill and repeats it in front and behind the targeted area. And Ancestral Call takes a single target melee skill and makes it attack multiple nearby enemies at the same time, so kind of like an instant multi-strike. This is pretty interesting as it means multiple secondary effects are possible, such as Molten Strike projectiles that'll overlap like crazy, without locking you in place like multi-strike. There'll be over 50 new uniques this expansion as well, a pretty massive number. A few have been revealed, but I won't go into too much detail on these here. Some of them do look pretty strong though, like the Hungry Loop that consumes level 20 supports to eventually create a 5-link ring slot. There is of course new supporter packs with all the expected trimmings. My personal pick of the bunch is the Redeemer with its creepy tentacle eyes. One other fairly notable teasered change is the movement and nerf to Vaal Pact. Now located near the Duelist, it no longer provides instant leech, instead doubling life leech rate and cap. This could be pretty powerful with Slayer especially, but I am hyped about this change. I've long been curious as to what Path of Exile without instant leech would look like, and now we'll finally be able to explore that meta. One last thing that was actually revealed before this expansion reveal is that 3.1 would also be seeing monster density changes in maps. 3.0 was pretty sparse, with some maps feeling downright empty. Bex reported that 3.1 will see every map mod provide a pack size bonus. Also, ZiggyD will be focusing on normalizing the XP per hour running each map type, instead of trying to control the XP per map. They've said they'll be rebalancing each map and are doing extensive XP per hour testing. It's pretty difficult to tell the end result of these changes at this point, but the goal seems to be in line with the new War for the Atlas mechanics in promoting map running diversity. I'm on board for that. Giving good reasons to run a variety of maps and then not punishing us for doing so seems good on paper. If they can actually pull this off, it could be the most vibrant and diverse endgame experience we've had to date. Overall, this expansion seems to be ticking all the boxes. Massive endgame expansion in both depth and variety following on from an improved leveling experience in the last expansion, tick. Interesting new skills on support, tick. New chase items, tick. Vaal Pact nerf, tick. If it's even as close to as good as it looks on paper, this is going to be one hell of an expansion. In related news, we've booked flights and will be headed to New Zealand later this month to scope out the new Abyss League and War for the Atlas expansion from inside the ZiggyD offices. Hopefully I'll be able to deliver you guys some interesting insights and juicy new info on what's coming 3.1. Hope you guys enjoyed my overview. That's it for now. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.
This war for the Atlas is a war for our sanity, a war for our world, a war for our soul.